We are delighted to be sponsored by Enzo Morabito and his brilliant Douglas Elliman team. They may be working in the Hamptons, but they're working everywhere. Welcome. Here we are, Jane and Vicki. Jane Hanson, the Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, and the political editor of the Politics NY. And here we are.
I can't believe you've given me that responsibility. Dangerous. But speaking of dangerous,
I'm Vicki Schneps, the president of Schneps Media, and here we are in the beautiful Hamptons, and my jewel of my crown of 88 newspapers and websites is Dan's Papers. And how special for me to have my beloved Geraldo and Geraldo Rivera and Erica Rivera, here with us today, Jane. Now, you two go back also, but I don't think you go back as far as I do.
No, I don't, because that's 5 decades. That's true. 50 years you guys have known each other.
50 years, literally.
Erica, were you even alive then?
No.
Sorry. Don't hold it against me.
As Erica says, it still counts.
And who's counting? Because I don't know, it's a blink of our worlds, right? But Geraldo and I met when Geraldo was a crusading reporter for Eyewitness News. And he broke through the barriers at a place called the Willowbrook State School, where my daughter Lara was a resident. And I was a young mother who formed an organization, WRC, and was marching and picketing because the budget had been slashed. And we were knocking, I used to say, Geraldo, we were knocking on air. Nobody listened to us until Geraldo came with his passion and his video coverage of that.
You snuck in, right?
We got a key from a doctor, a disgruntled doctor, who was leaving in protest. So he gave us the key to the B ward of building number 6. And I can't, to this day, it's like a Pavlovian response. I just get very, very emotional about it.
I've seen your reports and your pictures, and I met many of those people a few years later when I came to NBC. And even by that point, because it was well known, I still would get tears in my eyes listening to the stories and listening to you and about your daughter. And it's just amazing what you two accomplished. I mean, you did the story, but then you filed the class action lawsuit to get the place shut down. I mean, the reverberations. Doesn't it make you want to cry?
Yes, and here on Long Island, especially, we meet so many people who have a personal connection to Willowbrook. People come up to Geraldo all the time saying, my sister, my cousin's daughter, my brother's niece were all in Willowbrook, and that Geraldo helped them find a different place to live by shutting it down.
I am so grateful to still be part of Vicki's life because I am her number one fan. I've watched her from her, lonely crusade with the parents against the Rockefeller administration and the brutal cuts and the loss of Lara and what she has done, not only for the cause, which is so noble and affects so many people. Life's work has been such a tremendous success, but also to watch Vicki, this blossom, become a media mogul and a force to be reckoned with politically, media-wise, and then, of course, never losing sight of the cause. I am so delighted. Erica and I love you.
Oh, we love you. I love you back. Because it's not in your lifetime to have someone like you both in my life has made my life worthwhile.
But it also, is he not the inspiration for why you started a newspaper in the first place?
Yes.
Because you saw.
The power of the press was right there in Geraldo's hands, and he used it so gently and so strongly and so passionately that I said to myself, I don't know if I ever told you, but I said to myself that, someday I'd like to be in the news business. But then I went on, had 3 more children. I got a little busy.
But now look where you are now, 88 papers and a whole media empire. Nobody gets in your way, just like nobody got in yours.
Well, we're carrying on the torch, I think, of making a difference in this world. And I think that's what you did. And that's what you do every day on your show. And tell us about being part of, because, you know, you're basically a very liberal-minded person.
And you're
I mean-
on Fox?
I'm the sore
He's
thumb.
the only other opinion on Fox.
Before I get into the Fox thing, I just want to say anecdotally that my first job when I was 14 years old was delivering the Long Island Press,
Oh, really?
which Vicky later bought.
Did you tell her to?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I have a question, Erica. When he got this offer to go on Fox, did you look at him and say, "Are you nuts?" Or
Oh.
what happened?
You have no idea. We were working together at CNBC, and we both had terrific jobs, working together, living in Malibu, of all places. It was a dream come true. So yes, I did look at him like, what are you doing? But I knew he had to go to Afghanistan and to Iraq, being the New Yorker that he is, and that he felt like he had to go and cover the war.
9/11 changed everything for everybody. It wasn't even a choice. Once NBC said that because I had the #1 rated show on CNBC, I could not leave the show to go cover the war, I said, then I have to leave my contract. And Roger Ailes, a friend of mine, had gone from CNBC, where we worked together, to create Fox News. I turned him down for a couple of years, but then when 9/11 happened, I said, will you send me to war? And he said, yes. And so I became an old man going to war.
What was that like for you?
Well, I think, first of all, on a very personal level, being separated from Erica, we'd only been together a year at that time, and we were together like every single day. We worked together, we traveled together, we obviously lived together, and so I think from that, and I was so much older than everybody else in it. I was already almost 60 years old, wasn't I, when I went? Imagine going to war at 60 years old. And so it was chronicling the GIs and watching the soldiers and the Marines and the sailors and the airmen up close and sharing their hardships and, watching that story unfold. And then, just as Afghanistan starts to wind down, Iraq happens in 2003. So once again, our lives are in turmoil. And, it's the long distance.
But you were so good at it, bringing the Geraldo talk show to the soldiers.
Yeah, we'd
Great.
have 100 soldiers in. Oh, what's your name? I'm Jack Smith, Sergeant from Wichita, Kansas. I'm Mary Jones from Detroit, Michigan. And I saw that as my job, also be kind of a cheerleader.
The Bob Hope of the
The Bob Hope,
right.
yeah. I tried.
That was very powerful.
Yeah, Bob Hope was a hero.
Yes.
Well, that's really remarkable. So you've never left the passion behind. Passion for the
I
work.
still feel it. I just was watching today the Uvalde hearings,
Oh.
and I was just talking about the heroes that I've been with in Afghanistan and Iraq. To see in those hearings that those men with body armor and big rifles, Texas, heroes, how they chickened out as those children were being slaughtered, it just made me sick. I mean, it kind of defaced the Alamo legend. It's just so horrible. 19 children getting shot to pieces when the cops are too afraid to. I mean, it's just, every Jane thing still move me. So, they say, old men cry a lot.
They're about important things. And I think, there's something sick in our society with this gunning of murderous activities and these kids who are so disturbed and have this need to kill and to be killed. I don't quite get it. Is it a new phenomenon? How do you figure it out?
Well, I think that when I was growing up, we were tough kids. We had fights. I had fight every week. What's different is guns. They just weren't guns. Everybody, if we had a stick, it would be like, what are you doing with that stick? A garbage can cover. Nowadays they take a 9mm out and the songs that cheer them on, 50 Cent and this and that, and shot 9 times, and they extol the virtue of violence. It's pathetic to me. It's sickening to me. I just think that we need a new civil rights movement. I really do believe that. I think the civil rights issue of our day is how these children are killing each other.
Yeah, because they are children killing each other. And then I think about the marvel of your young 17-year-old daughter who's out there following in your footsteps, going around the world to do stories about countries and shows, right?
She does them from her home, but yes, she reads a story that takes place in a country, and she's trying to get through all 196 countries and then cook a meal that takes place in the country as well. So she has a little bit of a lot of Geraldo in her, some Anthony Bourdain wanderlust.
So I predict that she too will be following in her parents' broadcast footsteps. Don't
Soul
you think?
food. Yeah,
Soul
soul food.
Soul food.
Soul
So,
food.
SOL
soul-
is her name.
Oh, soul food.
SOL.
Is that
Yeah.
perfect?
That's wonderful.
Thank
It's
you.
really perfect
Thank you
having you
so
both
much.
here today. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Erica and Geraldo, for
We
sharing
love
some
you.
time
Oh, you're
with us.
such an
Jane, it's so nice to
inspiration.
see you.
It's so great to see you
All
too.
three of
and,
you.
and of course, we've got all this we've got this wonderful Hamptons connection because, just for the record, they live in the Hamptons and then they live in
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Geraldo Rivera in Cleveland. Did you
That's
ever
true
think?
love.
I mean,
That's what love is all about.
That's what love is all about. Thank you. Thank you.
And
That's
that's
the
a
best
beautiful-
answer right there.
And that's what this show is all about, bringing you some very special people. This is Victoria Schneps saying goodbye till next time.
and from me, as well, Jane Hanson. We'll see you then. Thank you for
Bye.
joining us. Bye bye.
We are delighted to be sponsored by Enzo Morabito and his brilliant Douglas Elliman team. They may be working in the Hamptons, but they're working everywhere.